Oh, we are live. Welcome, Wildcards. We have the Savage World Summer Streaming Showcase Spectacular for you today. All of the cool kids are here, except me. I'm not a cool kid. And surprise guest Diana Restrepo, which is the best thing ever. Everyone likes a surprise guest. So, welcome, Diana. You first because I didn't get you on the socials. Welcome to the showcase. Tell us what is going on in the Diana Strepo world for Savage Worlds, because you people are amazing. You do. First, thank you. Thank you for doing all the hard work. I know it doesn't get appreciated as much as it deserves. Streaming and creating content is really hard work, and we see you guys. We appreciate it, and we want you to have many more successes. But what's going on in your world, Diana?
Not much. Just everything that Megan's doing, I'm in. So that's what's going on in the world.
Well, perfect. That's a great segue for Megan. So, Megan, I did get this out. I did the tweet out. All of the things Megan's doing. Like, Twitter's like, it's too long, guy. There's not enough. There's not enough in the Twitterverse to handle all the stuff that Megan and crew are doing. So tell us what is up with the Meganverse and all the goodness.
The big thing that's Savage Worlds related currently, of course, is my show Harbingers, that Diana is a cast member on. That's with my production company, Gone Rogue Entertainment, which is almost a year old as of October 31st, as of Halloween. I know, I'm like, what? What happened?
And you're already award-winning. You are already award-winning. Congratulations on that.
I have no idea how that happened, but I'm very happy with it. So that's cool. But yeah, Harbingers, we've got 2 seasons or chapters, as I like to call them, that are out. Those are Savage Worlds. And of course, for a long time, the setting was hidden because my cast didn't know it and the audience didn't know it. But now it has been revealed. It is Headlands Down on Earth. As you all know, that's definitely what it is.
Headlands. I love that.
Is what I mean. Yes, which is fun because my cast is still new to it. Diana, as far as she knows, has never played Deadlands, so it's very exciting to introduce them to the scary world that they are actually in.
Oh yeah.
So good.
That's gonna be fun.
So
go ahead.
No. I'm not important here. So.
Well, season or chapter 3, which will be coming some point in the future, will be specifically set in Deadlands, Hell on Earth, which is going to be exciting. It's going to be kind of a Mandalorian meets Firefly meets horror, meets Deadlands type thing. So we'll see what we end up with.
Those are like all the best IPs ever.
You're doing Lost Colony?
No, I'm doing Hell on Earth, but I might be pulling in some. I don't know. Okay. I'm not going to give away any secrets, but it's definitely in there.
Well, when you say Mandalorian meets Firefly, it's immediately what pops in my head.
I know, it's very Lost Colony. I was like, oh, I should have picked a different setting. But I'll pull it all in somehow. We'll see. But yeah, that's all the Savage World stuff. I've got a couple other things coming down the line, but those aren't announced yet. So.
So good. You are such a productive person. I am so glad to see all the stuff that you could come up with. But speaking of like Deadlands and productivity, oh my God, Carrie, the marathon Deadlands. This was the most epic, cool thing I've heard of in a long time. Tell us about that, and then also what other current stuff you're doing. But I just love the fact that like you killed people off and they had to leave immediately. It's like that's so brutal and delicious.
Yeah, I'm carrying Exit on Death over to a few other projects, but just because it was so cool. Most of the Savage World stuff that is going to be recent, I've already done, so it's already available. Most of the stuff that's coming up isn't until like mid to late 2023, but love Savage Worlds, obviously. But Deadlands, it was 27 players total with like an exit. Yeah, with an exit on death feature. So just whenever the character died, that player just exited the call without saying goodbye, without being like, let's wind down a little bit. No, we just hard exited and kept going. And it was something. Yeah.
That is ouch.
So how did you find that? I mean, like how do you even approach a game that brings in so many different players and try to keep the narrative going and the story? Like how do you even approach that? Because that's super ambitious.
Yeah, well, I mean, this was an accident. This was I I tweeted, "Hey, would anybody be interested in playing Deadlands?" And I had like at the time like 15 people respond like, "Yeah, I really want to play." So then my goal became, how do I say yes to everyone? And it just kind of merged from that and eventually ended up with 27 total players.
That's a lot.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is
lots to keep
super
track of.
fantastic. The so how did you do about planning like the actual like the meat of your adventure? Like is it different when like it was like Megan does really highly produced great stuff where like characters are all really involved, and like here there's I mean let's be honest, there's no way to get 27 people pre-slotted into your narrative. So is it a little more, are you anxious because it's on the fly and you have to do more work there? Or like, how do you approach it as a game master and as a streamer?
Yeah, basically I just plan less. I like to plan just the bones, especially with that many characters. Basically I had the setup from what I wanted the finale to be and how I could get all of the characters there. And then because there are some great characters in Deadlands, so in Deadlands The Crossroads, so any character weaving was very much done on the fly and like by the characters interacting with the other characters, and it just everything fell together so well. Kudos to them for sure.
That's fantastic. So Cheyenne, let's move to you, buddy. Like similar question: how is it different running either a convention game or a home game to a game that is live and people are watching and you're streaming? Like, what's
well, the home game, it's kind of like I can take my time and let the story play out, and sometimes I make it. It ends up going way longer than I expect in campaigns. I'm finally after 4 years wrapping up campaign 1 of my Rippers game, and in that, if without giving away too many spoilers, there is this real narrative jump in the last 2 story points in Rippers, where it goes from basically the characters visit hell and then they go after Dracula, right? As the closer. And there's no story really in between that, right? And I've been dragging out this like exploration of Carpathia for like 2 months now of them collecting relics and all this sort of stuff to go up against Dracula, rather than just going boom, you're at Dracula's castle, because I can, and I don't have a time schedule I have to keep to, and it's a lot more fun and immersive and feels more like a location to explore, right? That's fun. At a convention, I got to get them into the action, within 5 minutes, right? We only got an hour to play, and I got to go beginning, middle, end, or so before, or 2 hours before it's all over, and that's pretty quick. And there's a lot of quick combat rules you got to throw in there, anything to get through the story. Live stream, it's kind of a weird mix of both. I want to make sure that I like to make sure that I have a story prepped in some way, and like I said, I usually work from the end episode plan in my planning, and then back, and then I almost never get all of it in, but I plan good points that'll be all right. This will be a good ending if I can't get to my original ending. That's about it. The rest of it is I just I set the scene, and I just like to see where my players go. It's they make it so much better for me. And I guess the other thing that I've really enjoyed doing is, particularly with investigations and stuff like that, when my players come up with their solution, they're right.
You're too nice, man. You're too nice.
Well, I mean, why am I going to force the game come to a stop because they got the investigation wrong? It doesn't really matter. Well, the point is, are they having fun? All right, let's keep the story going. I don't want to dead end and like, oh no, you got to go backtrack and look for through that desk again until you find the right clue.
But that's actually like so working in the background on SWAT and up front it's a comedy parody cop farce, but on the back end I want the rules to work for serious investigative stuff, and so there is a lot of like game crunch that you got to figure out, like, do I want to stall a narrative because they missed one clue or they botched one search roll or one investigation roll? And it's like the answer is no, you don't want that. You really kind of want to keep the roll of the story forward, because unlike the real world where it goes away. The case goes away because you couldn't find the evidence. Like that's wholly unsatisfying and investigative, right? You can't just be like, okay, you guys just don't know, and you're never going to find out now because you blew the roll. Like that's not an answer you can tell anybody.
I got a trick for that. And that still makes the investigation and research and notice roll, still make sense and still of value. But my trick for that is whenever the characters are looking for clues, an investigation location, I have them roll. They will always find every clue there is. But what their roll represents is how much of attention they draw to themselves in the process.
Oh, good. Ooh.
So you roll really well, you find all the secrets, and no one knows you were there. You roll really bad, you find all the secrets, and you leave a trail so the bad guys can now follow you.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I experienced that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So I'm going to steal that because my thing is like I want all these cases to go to a trial, whether it's trial by combat or whatever, but the end of there should be a trial, and it's how good they roll is how good the evidence really is. And how much truth they get to at the end. So yeah, I like that thing. That's good. Tell us before we run into Candace, because this is the obvious segue. What are your current streaming shows, Cheyenne?
I have nothing. I have nothing on deck right now. I'm kind of taking after the last show I just finished running. I'm taking a little bit of a break to recharge, and then as soon as I thought I was done. I was not going to be thinking about anything, no campaigns or anything like that. My brain pulls me back in, and now I'm working on I was struck with this urge for a modern horror setting here in the Pacific Northwest that's sort of Lovecraftian but without the racism.
Cool. That's where it's at. I love it. That's awesome, sir. But
and not connected to the mythos directly. It's my own mythos.
Good. So I got a beef with that. Like I do have a beef with so many companies jumping on the mythos because it's a free IP, and it's just like, guys, come on now, can't we not do this? Can't we do a little more creativity? Like you think it's going to sell you books if you jump on that IP, but
yeah.
It's free for a reason. It's very outdated. Let's get
you can put tentacles in anything, without it necessarily being, without having to use Lovecraft.
Right? Tentacles are free. But tell me about your most recent past show, the one that's really cool and spaceships and like Victorian and.
That was what I called my Gilded Age space opera, Axion, and I ran a 4-episode series just wrapped up with Valor Studios. It was just meant to be sort of like a live playtest of like just the setting and me working out some ideas in my head. And there's a lot more to the universe that I wanted to do, but in 4 episodes in the dog days of summer, it can get pretty miserable when everybody has to turn all their fans and air conditioning off. So I tried to fit in as much as I could, and then I was like, okay, it's too hot. We're done.
But so speaking of too hot, Mrs. Candace, you were on that. You got to enjoy some of the wonderful Cheyenne game mastering.
And Megan was in it too.
Yes, and Megan. Yes, I mean like the powerhouses. Like you're a very good cast. You have creds in the casting.
I've been very lucky.
Right. Well, and now it's like any of the rest of us who want to try to cast these amazing people. It's like, but I'm not a Cheyenne game master, so they're just going to be disappointed. So, but no one was disappointed with Cheyenne or with Candace. So, Candace, tell me, it's been about a year and some ago. Like it's been about a good 18 months.
Yeah.
Since we first asked you on. Like Carl was like, hey, I got this amazing person who plays with me in my home game. And we're like, we really need to do a play test for Savage Pathfinder. And we need people that we can kind of trust and do this turnarounds really tight. And Carl's just like, oh, Candace is, and then, boom, you are like the coolest person in Savage World streaming. So, welcome to the show, darling.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be back with my Savage fam. Yeah, it's been a really weird and crazy journey, honestly. This was my 3rd time at Cheyenne's table, believe it or not. First time was Flash Gordon, which was lovely. It's where I got to meet Taylor, another Savage Worlds dynamo.
She's hilarious, man.
Amazing.
She stays up till like 4 a.m. to be on our shows. I'm like, oh my God, Taylor, you are amazing.
Yeah.
She's ridiculous.
Because she is hardcore.
Yeah.
Right? She had wings and everything from her. Yeah. Like she totally like Brian Blessed was like she channeled that man's soul for her thing. Great.
Yeah, I've loved gaming with Cheyenne. Axion was amazing. I got to obviously game with Megan, which was phenomenal. People have been like, "You got to meet Megan" for forever, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll meet Megan someday," and we've done it now, so that's good. And yeah, it was wonderful. It was really, really good. I had such a blast. I have my fingers crossed for more, or even another game, because I love gaming with Cheyenne. And shout out to Valor Studios for being awesome as well, for hosting us. Really, really great time. They actually hosted Deadlands a year ago as well, around this time of year, I want to say. We went live.
Yeah. It was it was like in September, because we was going to be 10 or 11 episodes that would end around that would kind of go through Christmas and end just before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
that was the plan. Yeah,
super fun.
Yeah.
Really good time.
I had really fun writing the opening monologues for that, getting all campfire storyteller.
They're so good. Yeah, I really want to learn. I really want to run some Deadlands myself too. I haven't yet. I haven't run a game. I've thought about that. I'm trying to kind of get on my horse. A few people have asked me to be on their channel, so I'm sure I'm going to be running Savage Worlds for some very fine people in the near future. But I do have a Monster Hunters Club that I want to get back into. I actually just finished my home game of Monster Hunters Club with Carl. That was a 2-year-long Monster Hunters Club campaign that just finally came to a conclusion. It was awesome.
So cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. If you have not had a chance to play that setting, I highly recommend it. It is awesome. Shout out to Darren G. Miller for giving us awesome 80s stuff to play with.
Excellent.
No, it's fantastic. So tell me, how nervous were you playing in a game with the Empress of Savage streaming herself, Megan?
So I was deeply concerned. I'll not lie to you. I was like, first of all, I hope she likes me, because if she doesn't like me, that's going to be rough. And then second of all, I really hope that like our characters get in some good time together, because like with Axion, when you watch it, you'll notice everyone's got a fairly large personality. Even the quietest person at the table,
It's true.
Kai Roche, has a very big personality. So I was like, all right, well, everyone's going to have really big personalities. I don't know what's going to happen. And I honestly, this is ridiculous, but I honestly just kind of like went back to the time that I was in Flash Gordon. I was intimidated with our first go round because Shane was there, but that was like because of Shane, right? That's like a different thing. But in Flash Gordon, I was like, this Taylor person, she's pretty great. She's got great role play. How am I going to fit at this table? What if my character is too similar to her character? So like I was like on 10 meeting Taylor for the first time. But with Megan, I was like, okay, well, you were able to figure things out with Taylor. You're gonna have Taylor and Megan this time. It's gonna be fine. You're not gonna die. And I didn't die.
No.
I was okay.
That's great. I love
Yeah.
playing with you.
Thank
Candace,
you. I love
just
playing with you, Taylor.
you quite literally just explained what it's like for me to DM any table. It's like, oh, these people are so good. I don't know if I can do this.
I hope it's not bad. Please don't hate me.
Oh, your thing with Shane is legit. Like, I have run games for Shane, I think at least 3 or 4 times at conventions, and he's hated every single one of them. So I'm
God.
with you. like, it's stressful. Sorry, it's like the guy who made the game is sitting right here, and then there's like 7 other people, and it's like, this is not. No, why do I do this? No, I should not.
All my years working with Shane, I've only gotten him in one of my games. I've only got him to sit at the table for one of my games, and I've never gotten the chance to play a game he was running, because when we meet up at conventions, I don't want to squeeze myself into the game. I want everybody else to get that experience. So
Right? No, it's true. Like we need to do like a behind the scenes con where it's just like we don't tell anybody else, but we all actually get to play in each other's games, because like Gen Con is not the place for it. Like the big con, it's just so tough. But the so Megan, how strong are you with your shoulders heavy lifting the entire like open the door for Savage World streaming? I mean, you are the pioneer with you. Right? I mean, like that's like no small bit of work there.
It's cool. It's really cool, honestly, because whenever we decided to do wild cards, it was just kind of Jordan was like, we're going to play Savage Worlds because I like this system and I think it works better for me than D&D. And we're like, okay, great. Let's do it. Western setting, sweet. Supernatural, okay. We did that, and then it like became what it was. And that was cool. I mean, it's a cool experience. It's weird, but it is really, really cool to see like other people going, hey, this is a cool system. It's great for streaming because it's so cinematic. Why don't we do it too? Like it's really cool to see even people from like our chat that would come and watch Wildcards all the time went out and created their own channel and now do stuff. And it's like, I mean, you don't want to take credit for that, but you're kind of like, I think they met in our Discord. That's so cool. It's very exciting.
I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like, I don't want to take credit for Candace the Magnificent, but I cast her on her first show, people. So when all of you are winning real Academy Awards and shit, I want to at least be at the after party. So
110%. Yes.
So Megan and Diana, I mean, like this is a showcase of you guys. So besides the Savage Worlds thing, let's talk about the Whistler, because that's what won you your big award, right? So tell us, like, what was that? What was like that? Producing that, acting in it, getting accolades for it? Like, brag all you want, please.
It really happened really fast, to be honest. It was kind of like I was like, I'm gonna do my own production company, and I'm gonna do it on Halloween, and I'm gonna do a short film. Yeah, because Philip, who's also on Harbingers, the other GM. He was like, Megan, do short films when you do films. They're easy, do short films. They can get into festivals easier. I was like, okay, I'm listening. So I did. And Jordan, I was like, what should I do? And Jordan's like, I got an idea. And then typed it up and then sent it to me. And I was like, great, Diana, you want to come do this thing with me? And so we did. I was like, here's my webcam. Here's my phone. Let's wander around the streets and shoot this thing and put it together. And then yeah, I mean, it happened in about a week's time. And then I was like, I can submit to festivals? Well, I guess I will. And then some people put it in the festival, and then we got an award for it. And I was like, what is happening? So that's pretty much the way that went. But it's been a lot of fun and very exciting. And honestly, my whole goal with Gone Rogue was kind of to be like, you know what? I can do a lot of stuff with very minimal oh, hi, Ghost. My cat says hi to everyone. With very minimal equipment, minimal needs, minimal people, whatever it is, so that we can get stuff out there and do cool stuff. And I kind of wanted to prove to myself that I could do that. And so it's really cool to see that. And I hope that for other people, they hopefully can also see that it is accessible for them too. Because this industry, and I mean the entertainment industry, but the TTRPG space is kind of an offshoot of the entertainment industry in some ways, and it can be really, it can really close its door to you. It can really lock people out, and I don't think that's fair, because I know so many great creatives that do not get the attention that they really should, and that sucks. And so I really want to try and find new ways to be able to bring that attention to people who I think deserve it. And everyone else, and I hope other people see that too, and they can do the same thing. So but yeah, I don't know, Diana, you have any thoughts on the Whistler from your perspective?
No, it was fun. I mean, there was a lot of laughing. There was a lot of like, am I doing this right? Are we saying this right? And then just it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to film something that's not tabletop RPGs with Megan, and being actors in Los Angeles. I was like, yeah, heck yeah, let's do it. And I hope we do more soon, because the itch is there. But yeah, like she said, it's another outlet for acting. It's very hard. People don't warn you how hard it is when you come to Los Angeles. Unfortunately, no one tells you, and then it's who you know, and it sucks. So you have to literally make your own stuff. But I'm very thankful for meeting Megan, and we got to do that. And then, the future's coming, and I can't wait to see what else we do.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about like the opportunity to have separate takes, right? It's like in almost all RPGs, there's really not the chance to edit, right, and try again. But like, how is that more freedom? Is it harder? I mean, how do you maintain, like, get back into character and get back into mood? Like, what's that process like for you?
It's different. I mean, it's interesting because I've done more live shows than I've done pre-recorded shows. And in general, with pre-recorded, I really prefer to approach it as if we're shooting live. So even for second season of Harbingers, which we did pre-recorded, first season was live, so you can see kind of a little bit of both. But it's really similar, honestly, in that way. The only thing, and this was just the nature of the way we shot Harbingers, we did it basically in 2 days. We did like 2 9-hour days to shoot the entire season. So it was like, yeah, it was like, yeah, it was 4 hours. Here's our lunch. Here's another 4 hours. Was essentially what we did. Yeah, and the reason we did that is because one of the cast, Randy, one of our cast members, is in Seattle, so he flew in for that because I wanted everybody to be in person.
Right.
So, which I think is whenever you can be in person, that's always the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
It creates a better energy. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge, especially since Philip GM'd the first half, and then I had to jump in and finish it right in the middle of all that. So you kind of had to go like, okay, I hope my plan works. But you know, we set ourselves up for that. So I don't know. I miss the audience interaction in some ways when you do it recorded like that, but at the same time, being able to go back and edit it and really like tighten when someone says something really cool and be able to like get those moments in there and add sound effects and do stuff like that is also super cool. So it kind of has its, you know, you lose some, but you gain some in both directions.
But to be honest, Megan, we rarely cut, like we most time we just played the entire time, and maybe like, you know, there's a couple times that Philip or Megan would fumble their words in their huge monologue or introduction of like, let's establishing shot, that we would just have to redo it. But literally the entire time we just went from start to finish. We never really stopped, and it was also really good because you're in the moment the entire time. You're the character the entire time, so that was really nice as well.
Yeah.
And is that available on your Gone Rogue Entertainment YouTube? So for folks who haven't caught it, can they catch it there?
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can see the whole seasons. The very first season that was streamed live is on there as well, and that one is that one's Coven, and then the second season is Cyberpunk, which Philip and I switch back and forth on the GMing to kind of spread the love there. So you can see a little bit of both of us, right there, and the Whistler is also right there on Gone Rogue Entertainment's YouTube.
So good.
Yep.
No, I'm so proud of you guys, because I mean that is hard, right? That is such a hard. Like, to get someone else to recognize your stuff is almost impossible in this world, right? I mean, that's kind of why we're doing the showcase. It's like, we see you guys producing amazing streaming content, and I mean, we don't have the bandwidth to watch every single hour or promote it the way it really deserves, but, you know, as much as we can, like, it's, you know, it is super entertaining, it is super hard work, there's so much quality there, and so, yes, having someone else finally put their stamp of approval on it, it's like, good job, yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's nice, Thank you.
Also, though, I think you need to do a show with just you, like pantomiming what Jordan does during the day, because so far in this one, it's fantastic. Like she's a very aggressive typist, apparently. Yes.
Very aggressive, right?
So that's fantastic. Like we need a, you know, the Jordan and Megan show. So speaking of YouTube channels, let's pop up Carrie's. Carrie, you're doing a bunch of non-Savage World stuff recently, so like tell us about those projects too, because those are legit. Those are good. We can watch those too. We're not system soloists or whatever.
System specific. So every single piece of content that I put out is all I haven't named it, but like some people playing have named it like the Carrieverse. It's quite literally all connected. There will be references to other games or timelines or however you want to put that in everything. So quite literally everything is canon to each other. And so what I'm about to start up is an Outbreak Undead series. And I say that lightly because Carrie likes to take rules and like twist them and crunch them around and take like pieces of rules from this and pieces of rules from that. I'm very cinema based, so I want things to be as cinematic as possible typically. So we took Outbreak Undead, and this series is called Death Toll. And it's called Death Toll for a reason. We have incorporated Exit on Death on this one again.
Do we need to get you a shirt? I think we need to get you a shirt that just says Exit on Death. Like, this needs to be... Have you trademarked this yet? We need to get on that paperwork.
we need to look into that. For no reason at all, no spoiler reasons or anything, but the last thing that I filmed, like 2 days ago or so, someone was like, okay, we need to get t-shirts that says, like, I was killed by Carrie. in a game. So there is that, but Death Toll, we have recorded almost half the series, almost half the season already, and it is incredible. It starts September 7th. So we're getting close. I've been waiting, I've been like hyping it up, and I hope everyone likes it as much as I have. But the series that just finished was actually again, I say lightly, Call of Cthulhu campaign. I do take, you won't really see any monsters from Call of Cthulhu or any like actual lore from Call of Cthulhu necessarily. A lot of it's my own stuff, but it had 15 players in it, and 3 chapters, overarching plot. I think you're sensing a theme here, but basically I like to make things as hard as possible on myself, but then it ends up working out really well, and I'm like, oh look, pleasant surprise. It's the players.
Well, that's a good question for all of you guys. I mean, maybe we'll start with Carrie and move around. How do you cast, right? I mean, obviously we know Cheyenne's got great taste. And we have great taste because I've casted all of you except Carrie. So Carrie, you're going to have to be on a Savage Worlds show upcoming when we get around to doing another one because, that'll just complete the set. But I mean, how do you find out who plays well together? What kind of goes into your casting decisions? So Carrie, you start us there. Like, how do you make that choice on how to get casting and what fits?
So Deadlands was my first online thing ever. So I just threw people together and it somehow worked really well. But after that, then I know people a little better. So I'm like, oh, hey, your vibes fit your vibes. And it just comes down to like a vibe check of then just throwing them together and everyone does. I've just been really lucky. There's no skill there when it comes to putting tables together. I'm just really lucky and everyone is really great. So.
Well, that's good enough. It's good enough. I do like that you can just try. I mean, throw people in and see if it works and give it a try. Because that's a good place to start. So, Mr. Cheyenne, right?
Yeah.
How do you do it? How do you figure out casting for your shows? Like,
in the early things when I was doing it, I let's see. The only ones you can still find online right now is Dungeons of Discordia, and that one I ran right after the Flash Gordon one shot I did in promotion with the Flash Gordon Moons of Mongo Kickstarter, and I immediately said we had Taylor. No, Taylor was already in my Dungeons of Discordia one there. That's where I met Taylor for the first time in my Dungeons of Discordia thing, and then when I went to do the Flash Gordon, turns out she was going to be in that, and that's where I met Candace. And I just collect people I like and invite them to the next thing I'm going to do.
There's a Discordia link for everybody.
Yeah. I know that when we were working on Deadlands Hellgate, they held like an audition, and we got like a bunch more people who applied than we were going to do on the show. But I put my foot down after the casting meetings that we held with everybody, and I said, if I don't get Candace, I'm not doing the show.
In demand, Candace. That's true. I mean, once Candace has been in your show, you really can't go back. It's true. So Candace, for you, kind of a different question, but similar. Like how is it like? I mean, you have found yourself on many a good show. What advice do you have to other people who want to get into being a fantastic player part of that equation? Did you approach people? Like, how did you start? Like, obviously, we found you first, but like, other than that, how did you get kind of the snowball effect of your online career started?
Yeah, so for me, it really comes down to trying to find people that you vibe with. I think for me, it's led to meeting other people, and like even if the people that you like initially kind of reach out to, even if that ends up being something that you don't want to pursue, like just try to keep your mind open. For me, like I actually have cast before, even though I haven't like done anything on my channel. I did Thirsty Sword Lesbians this past June. Carrie was actually at one of my tables. So like being able to meet new people and talk to new people, whether you're casting or whether you're just applying for games or something like that, like just being open to those connections. Pay attention to who you vibe with at the table. Try to see, who are your favorites, right? Who are the people that you stan? Like my first show was as Landauer said, was Pathfinder, right? Savage Pathfinder. There were 2 Savage Pathfinder shows that came out at the same time. One was Megan's show, which was like the fancy one with like cosplay and sound effects and like overlays and like really beautiful stuff. And then like one was like the low key, like we're just chilling, playing this game. And it was with Carl, who is like my OG GM, right? Like he's my GM senpai, very close friend. And for me, like being at that table and kind of watching what everybody was doing, I was like, okay, like I see these people, I see what they do. That's interesting. So I kind of kept watching and kept coming back and kept being open. And I watched Hollow's Last Hope with Michelle and with Megan. And I was like, man, with Jordan, right? Like everybody at the table was so good. And I was like, all right, so like, how do I do that? Like, how do I go do that? I think I can do that. Like, I feel I did theater like my whole life. So I was like, I'm pretty sure acting wise and improv wise, you can do it. And like, you've got good makeup skills. So you're like halfway there, I think. What are the other ingredients you need? So I kind of just like started following people that I liked and thought they were they were interesting. And, when Cheyenne had that, that casting call, I was like, jump, do it, get in there. So just try not to be afraid. And if you're ever like concerned or you're ever scared or like, you're ever like, oh, I don't know, maybe I can't do it. Just try to kind of like find other places where you can test your boundaries, right? Like at your home game, let your people know, hey, I'm going to do a thing tonight. I'm planning on going nuts with a voice. Please don't make fun of me or make fun of me in moderation, right? Like ask your home game to like just chill for a second and try to like open up a little bit. That's really genuinely what I did. I was just like, I was playing Savage Pathfinder before anybody except for like Carl and Shane and Landauer knew that it was going to be like an actual project because Carl was like homebrewing it for us. And because we were like, we want high fantasy. And he was like, ugh, fine. Well, I like Pathfinder, so I'm doing Pathfinder. Don't ask me for the dragon game, So when we started kind of doing that, like that was the first time I was ever a bard. It was the first time I've played an instrument as part of my character. Like I went really hard on it because I was like, I need to know if I can do it. Like I need to know if it's good. So don't be afraid to get silly and get weird because you're going to have to get so much sillier and so much weirder on camera in front of everybody.
That's true. I mean, that actually brings up a great kind of point. Like for Megan, for your Pathfinder actual play, I really love Jordan. She opened up a new kind of character that we haven't seen with her before with Diffle. Was it Diffle? Was like, right? Diffle. Crazy different style. And so maybe like talk a little bit about like how do you think there's more freedom to explore as a game master and running and a producer or as a character? And how has kind of, I mean, you have such a great resume of shows. How has it been different over the different roles you played, whether game master or player, in that space?
Well, I feel like playing and GMing give me different elements that I like that I haven't figured out how to apply to the other, which is actually with Harbingers. One of the reasons that I wanted a co-GM is because I missed getting to play, because I really like to create a character that has some elements that I really want to be able to explore, and I haven't figured out how to do that as a GM. But I really love getting to create a world and allow and being able to be the one who decides how the world reacts to players and being able to hopefully give them the kind of experience that I like as a player, giving them the opportunity to, create a character that gets to shine and gets to be whatever it is that they really want that character to be. And I like to be able to allow the world to help them get to do that. So I miss kind of the other whenever I'm GMing or playing. And it's definitely changed over the years. I kind of like what Candace was saying. Starting out with streaming, you can go back and see it. It's really weird to see, but I was so terrified. I was terrified, and I didn't feel like I could, just kind of like be me or make some big choice or take a risk in that way. And it really took time, but I can kind of like trace it back through all the different shows, Savage Worlds, D&D, Pathfinder, whatever it is I'm playing. And I can kind of see like there would be one show where, you know, I would kind of make sort of like Diffle, I'd make some new decision that I hadn't done before. And I'd be like, oh, well, here's this whole range I didn't know I could do, which is interesting. But I will say, kind of like Candace was saying too, I think more important than anything to be able to kind of like grow is to have a GM at a table who makes you feel safe and allows you to do that without making fun of you or without, you know, tearing you down in some way, because it's vulnerable. It's vulnerable. I mean, any actor knows that. Yeah, any performer knows how vulnerable it is to be like, I'm putting my creation out in front of you. You know, please don't step on it. Yeah. That's scary. So I really do think that's really important, and that's another thing that I really like to do in my games. But this is my goal. This question that you're asking me, this is my goal for my next season of Harbingers, is to figure out a way to GM it and play a character as an NPC that feels similar to me and what it's like to play in a game. And I have no idea what that's going to look like, but that's my goal. So we'll see.
I think it's fantastic for all of you. I mean, this is so much like game design too. Like, except it's worse because the people see your face and there's immediate feedback.
True.
So, like,
yes.
I mean, I know no one would ever say anything mean about Diana, but
That's
I mean,
not true. You know, there's haters out there. Come
right?
on.
So here's a question for the field, Mike. Diana, if you want to start with this one, but we'll go around the table. What is it like dealing with overcoming like the haters, right? I mean, there's like I've seen. We've only had one nasty thing on the Peg channel that I just had. I mean, I felt awful that I had to delete it. And I'm so glad the person didn't see it who was on stream, who's here. But I was like, I felt horrible for the next 2 days. I'm like, I can't believe someone that would end up on our channel would say, and they weren't part of the community. It was literally, you know, went and looked at it and researched it, but it still felt like, how are those people out there? And so, I mean, what kind of strategies do you have to combat, you know, one, like the immediate shock of like, Jesus, people are horrible on the internet. But two, like, you know, keeping up the energy and the fun and the community that, like, I mean, you guys build such a great community here with so many more people than even we, you know, as Peg can reach. Yeah, how do you keep the community healthy and still deal with, like, you know, the occasional dip? Like,
you know, if your community, like the people who watch your shows, like they're very supportive of you. They're like family to you, and they always have your back. And they'll like, on the other channels I've been on, like they're quick to like call out people and go, dude, like calm down. If you don't like it, go away. For me as an actor or just a human, you have to learn to just let it go. Like ignore it, let it go, continue what you're doing, because those people are just jealous of what you're doing. They're just jealous. Like, and they feel better about making fun of someone else. You know, it's like all the bullies when you're in school. It's just, as an adult, you see it now, you're just like, I wish I could tell the little kid in me, like, hey, it's okay. Like, it's going to be okay in a few years. They're going to be jealous of you. You know, anyway, usually your community will stand by you. And I'm always very thankful for that, because I have seen it in the past with the DAT network and the Dragons and Things. Like, we have seen some negativity, and just most of the mods are just quick on it, so we don't have to see it.
That's
and
good.
It's there, and it's okay. People, you don't have to like what I do, and if you don't like it, then turn it off. Why do you have to stay on? You know, just turn it off. But,
I know, and it's free. It's literally free. Like, no one is charging you for this.
Right.
So yeah, so Carrie, have you had to deal with the Twitter mob or whatever? And
Not really, but if you could see my mute and block list
there we go. That's
on
healthy.
Twitter, I just don't have a chance. If I see anything negative about anything whatsoever, I'm like, you're muted. I don't accept negativity in my Twitter space. So I just collect really good beans. Really good beans in
boundaries
the
are
community.
healthy,
I'm like, you and I like you, and then I just keep them, and we're all warm and fuzzy and safe.
And you collect your army of people who love what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what overcomes the stupid ass people that
Yes.
want to make fun of you. Excuse my language.
No, it's true. And I mean, like boundaries boundaries are good with people you know, let alone people you don't know, right? And it's like, and a lot of these people, I think someone had a really good, they're like energy vampires. There are people who want your attention. It's like, don't give it to them. Like, you literally,
Yeah.
you can just
Right, exactly.
don't even bother.
Exactly. They want attention. Exactly.
So, Cheyenne, any strategies on dealing with the being such a public figure and creating art in front of people?
I don't know. It kind of feels like it's hard to make a decision on that. I think I don't get that much notice. I really don't. I get almost no feedback from on Twitter or anything like that after shows, and I'm too busy juggling things during a show to see what the chat room looks like.
Yeah.
Well, and that's true, and that's kind of a sad thing. I think. I mean, like, I'm apologizing to you guys that we don't, like, boost your signals enough, because it's like the bandwidth is not there, right? But it's like, it is sad that in general, people will love something, they will form a connection with you, and they will never open their mouth with you.
Yeah.
You don't know that they are a super fan of yours and that they love your stuff, because they never consider that they can reach out.
Yeah.
Which is sad, right? Because the one douchebag who's got a tiff about, like, the game you're running to it's about the producer from 25 years ago who originally published the game, and they're still mad about it. It's like, oh, whatever. But they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you on your Facebook and your email and your Twitter, and they're going to, it's like, well, why do you have that energy where the people who really love your stuff, it just seems like there's not the same, like, yeah. So anyways, tell people you love them, people, like, whether it's their content creators or not. But Candace, this one's a big one for you. It's like, I've seen you deal with this. I mean, you were on your own stream. Oh.
I just wanted to add one other thing before Candace, that the only people, so in the end, the only people I care about whether or not they like the show are the people at my table.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's it. All right, Candace.
So give us the masterclass, Candace, because I've seen you handle yourself amazingly well, definitely. And like, it was like you and your husband were doing some fun stuff where you were doing singing and stuff like that, and you got trolls. And so tell us,
So
floor is yours, kid.
For me, for the most part, I've had to do a lot of, like, pre-setup. I have people that have, allowed me to appoint them moderators and things like that, but, like, it's a little bit craftier with me. I have very much, like, I do the follower only chat. You have to have a verified account. I do, like, all the stuff that doesn't help you grow, because people want to just be able to, like, come see you, listen, decide if they like you after being in your chat, and then click follow. Like, no. For me, it's important to have that. Like, I get really harassed online for obvious reasons, and
So ridiculous.
It was very shocking the first time it happened to me, because I was doing some Pride Legos, and I was like, well, that's just about the tenderest and tamest thing I could do.
Yeah, and that was a cool
problem
stream.
for someone.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it was an issue, and I was like, all right, well, you can have an issue if you want, but I mean, I'm still gonna be sitting here doing these Legos. I'm so sorry. I don't know why
all the pets are out today. Diana needs to grab her bird. Diana has the most amazing
Everybody
pet
get your
ever.
pets.
It's so cool.
Like, it's a lot right now. What is wrong?
Yeah, Hannibal decided he was like, chewing on the door, so I heard this like, I'm gonna open the door so he doesn't eat it.
Oh my god.
The pets want to be here. But no, I mean, kudos to you, Candace, because I was on that Lego stream, and it was just like, really? Like, this is someone fun putting together a fun Lego set, and just like the trollish nature of it was so toxic.
Yeah,
But
for me, I think, like, just, like, not giving up is really something that I think is important, because I think some people encounter that and they're like, oh my god, and it's terrible, right? It's awful. Like, when I got into my Twitch account and I had to figure out, like, what I could, ban from my list, right? Like, I had to think about what that person had called me and type all of that in, which is like harmful,
so ridiculous, right?
And then, like, people are starting to do new things, right? Where they're trying to be creative. So they're like, okay, well, I can't say the word, I don't know, like, monkey, for example. So I'm going to look up all of the types and genuses and species of this creature, and that's what I'm going to use instead, right? So then you have to, like, ban, like, everything. So it's just take the time to keep yourself and other people safe. Like, when we did TSL, like, we had to do follower only chat. We weren't trying to have, people, across a spectrum of sexualities, across a spectrum of gender identities, across a spectrum of orientations, right? Like, we're not going to put those people out there to just hang, right? While people just say whatever they want in the chat, right? While allies are there, while family and friends are there, right? Like, that's so disrespectful, and people just want to steal your joy. And I feel like allowing someone to steal your joy is garbage, right? So for me, like I always try to just continue. It's not always easy. It doesn't always feel good or right to continue because you're just like, is it worth it to have this level of drama or this level of trouble in my life? But at the same time, like somebody else is out there going, man, I wish there was different content that was this, this, and this, and that those are all the things that you offer to the world. So that's basically where I'm at. And I agree with what Diana was saying too. Like, let your community hold you, right? Like I went through something, fairly recently that wasn't awesome. And my community like picked me up and was like, hey, like we've got you, like we've got your back. You're good. We're your family. Like we're in this together. Like you make content that we love and we're trying to be about that. So for me, that's really, that to me is like so powerful because these are other people, right? Like people can totally ruin your stream and be terrible, but people can also uplift you and love you like unconditionally. And that's rad. So
and there's way more than that than stupid like one or two people who are trolling you.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
No, I think that's a great observation, Dana, too, is that knowing that the lovers are out there, the people who aren't haters, knowing that like that some of the people who do this, they just do it for fun on any channel. They have no idea who you are, what your content is. They have no idea. Yeah. It's literally they sit on Twitch and decide to troll people because that gives them a dirty high, I guess you would call it. Mm-hmm. But man, you guys are so amazing. I think we've had so few problems in our community because I just think that you guys have set like the way Megan and Jordan have just being pioneers. You set a really great tone. Everybody's come after them. The producers like Cheyenne, our new lovely talent like Candace. I think you guys are all so commendable for just the. I gotta think of a good word, but it's like it's not just professional. Professional doesn't quite cut it. It's honorable. I mean, there's a level. There's some great word, and I just don't have it for putting your heart out there and doing good stuff and being vulnerable, but also being like a welcoming part of the community. I mean, I have not seen. I mean, it's a very rare person who gatekeeps or who and the fact that the community still exists even when that does happen and we can overcome those things. It's like, yes, all day. Let's keep these people empowered to tell stories, to be creative, to share. I mean, really, it's about sharing stories, right? I mean, no matter what the system is or the mechanics, or what companies are behind all this stuff, it's about sharing human stories with each other and having fun with each other. And I think that streaming brings that to the audiences in a way that just regular gaming can't. Right? Gaming is very personal at your own kitchen tables with your own friends, but the getting you guys to. I mean, I know there's some negativity to what they call the pseudo relationship you have with people you see online, but there's also a very positive thing there too, right? As long as you keep it healthy and you recognize that. You guys are role models for people, and I just love the fact that we didn't have to go to Carrie and say, Carrie, here's a big wad of cash. Could you just do a huge Deadlands thing? I mean, you did it because you're a fan, and that is so much more authentic and so much more participatory, and it really opens the door to what being a Deadlands creator is, right? Like, it's not just the people who work at PEG or who have worked at PEG who put a book out. I mean, there is storytelling and world building and lore and narrative now that exists because you guys are fans. So, in the last, we got a couple more minutes, and let's go one more round with start with Megan. What other cool things are you working on? Doesn't have to be streaming. And like Harlan and Joe couldn't be here today, and they asked a really cool question. They're like, outside of gaming, outside of just the RPGs, what cool things are you consuming? What do you want to raise the signal on? Could be anything in the world. So,
oh my, yeah, that's a big question. Well, right? One thing I wanted to say just in response to what you said last, I will also say though that I think Pinnacle has created the Savage Worlds community is just a lovely community. Like I know there are bad apples everywhere, whatever you want to call them, but in general, I feel like you all set that standard as well. And which allowed us to set that standard as well, and allowed us to interact with the community that was already there, and that felt positive. So I think that I want to throw that back at y'all as well. Things. Well, right now, Diana and I both are on Dragons and Things Bantam, which actually so that's over on Dragons and Things, the DAT network. The DAT network. On Fridays at 6 p.m. and we alternate. So Diana and I were last week, and then this Friday is a different group, and the next Friday we'll be back. But that's actually a show that was on the air before the pandemic and has now finally returned. So yeah, and that's in studio, which is really cool. It's always nice to be in person. And you will see the Carolina game table. The saving throw table is now over at Dragons and Things. So you can see that there. That's pretty cool. But yeah, there's that. I also have Adventure Bones, which is still relatively new. I've got
Yes,
2 of
talk
them
all
out.
about this. Take a minute because this is so cool. Let me get the link for folks while you talk.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's so basically where Adventure Bones came from for me was I went, okay, how else can I give myself like a fairly low stakes performance that I can do? And I've wanted to do more voiceover because I really have fun playing with voices and things like that. So I came up with this idea that I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm just going to do it. Where basically I try to come up with a very short, like I'll give an example of the first one, which is called New Home or New Town, I think. Essentially it's these diary entries of this woman who has moved to this new place, and she's just kind of dealing with some weird stuff in her house. So I have 4 diary entries that I've recorded, and then there's also a handout, so they're written, and then I usually add one other handout. And this one, there's a ritual list of items as well, just that goes along with the story. And so they're just like little things that in your game, they're system agnostic. So in your game, you could use, so somebody could find the first diary entry, and then you have this recorded voiceover that you can just play. You don't have to do the work, it's there for you. And I try to leave them fairly open-ended so that you can create the story of what's really going on. So I give you elements, and the hope is that, as in calling it Adventure Bones, you've got the bones here, and then you can create whatever you want on top of that. That is the goal of Adventure Bones. And I have so many more that are ready to go. I just haven't had the chance to sit down and do them yet. So there will be more one day.
Nice. Yeah, well, in the experiment, there's 2 up now, and they're only $4.99. So like this is like a no-brainer for a game master or player who wants inspiration for storytelling. So.
Yeah, they're just simple little things like that, and I'm going to continue to try to. Both of these are more modern, which is easier since you're dealing with recorded to make it make sense. But I intend to put some out that are fantasy and just kind of run the gamut, or can be put into any system at any time and place. So
That sounds
yeah.
so cool. That's so
Thanks. It's been fun. It's been fun. I want to do more of them, and I've talked to some other people out there potentially making some that are specific to like maybe Street Wolves or something like that. So one day.
You got a shirt represented Street
right
Wolves.
there. Yeah. Let's see what else. I know we did a show that I really freaking love that Diana was also in, which is Ladies of Lake, and that's going to be coming back for a second season, probably early next year. Yeah, and that one was fun. That one's D&D, but it was lasers and liches. And I mean, D&D is great, but honestly, I keep telling the GM, I'm like, hey, can I run Savage Worlds for you? Because I think, seriously, you can ask Diana. I keep doing it in the chat. I'm like, let me give you.
I mean, I would prefer it in Savage Worlds.
See what I'm doing?
I can help push.
Yeah.
I had fun with Mid-Journey and working on album covers for you.
Yes!
With you. That was really fun.
It was fun, yes. I because Cheyenne has Mid-Journey that popped up into the Discord that we're in, and I'm like, ooh, so I'm trying to create stuff for this character, and Cheyenne's like, ooh, I'm gonna get on it, and created these amazing album covers for this show, Ladies of Lake, which was amazing. But yeah, that one's a lot of fun. It's we're a 1980s like all-girl rock band that finds ourselves in Arthurian.
It's fun. It's silly and dumb and fun.
Dumb and fun is where it's at. I
like,
love that idea.
It is.
Yeah, Megan
it's
and
fantastic.
our characters kind of hooked up, and we're kind of like, we want to just help everyone, and the rest of them are just like, oh god, we just stopped for them again. Like it's really funny. It's really funny. Our dynamic is pretty fun.
I enjoyed that. That one's a blast. But yeah, those are things, man, stuff that I'm into right now. I don't know. I'm a big horror fan, obviously. Got my sweet horror earrings that I got. I got the other day. So I just watched The Black Phone, which was really good. Highly recommend.
Oh, I want to see that so bad.
It's interesting. I don't always like serial killer stuff, but this one does interesting things with ghosts, and it's different, and it's kind of like the resolution feels good. So recommend that. Oh man, I know I just watched something that I freaking loved, The Resort. If anybody wants to see a mind-bending,
good.
Yeah, it's so good. That one's good. Man, Infinity Train I know just got knocked off of HBO, but if you can find it,
man, so
What's up with HBO, man? I
They're
got
having an
beef.
identity crisis.
I got a beef with the HBO. See,
I think I can't remember the company that just bought them, but I think they're just using it as a tax write-off.
Discovery.
Listen,
Yeah.
if they cancel Our Flag Means Death, I will throw myself off.
Oh my god, that one's so good.
That one's
Yeah.
so funny. Oh
to
god,
watch that.
Tika Waititi is like he's so cool.
I
Oh
know,
my God.
I know.
I won't forgive HBO for canceling Deadwood and Rome. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This ages me by
That
about
was
10
wild.
years, but
Yeah.
those were like there would be no Game of Thrones without Rome and Deadwood, and then they
That's real talk.
screw up the end of
Deadwood.
Game of Thrones, and now they're anyways. HBO, please,
Anyway,
They're making
Another thing.
right?
I feel this hatred.
So Diana, what's cool with
Yes.
you? What besides all the amazing things with Megan? Any cool things that you're experiencing in life you want to raise the candle
God,
to?
I wish
flick
there
the bic?
was. No, just right now, like Megan said, Vantum every other Friday. Happy to be back in studio, like she said. And then Tuesdays, randomly, we also have our other show called Heroic Endeavors, where we play a bunch of like investigators of the town, and it's a different cast every week. So that's been a lot of fun. Same network, the DAT network. And then on Monday nights, I'm on Norse Foundry Channel doing our kaiju kind of setting. It's called War Paint. So we're in like giant mechs fighting monsters, and that's been a lot of fun. It's been crazy and lots of blood and gore, but we've been having a lot of fun with that. So
Let me
yeah.
tell you what Diana does on a daily basis. She goes and takes care
Oh,
of
God.
these amazing baby birds. Oh my god. They are so all kinds of birds. She'll show you around all these amazing giant birds that talk that, like, oh my god. That's what Diana, she takes care of birds. And it's
That
sounds
adorable.
wonderful.
Oh, Megan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
got to
work
see
at
her
Paris
pet
store.
one when we were doing like a year and some ago during the
Yes,
Pathfinder
the
filming.
Pathfinder,
Oh,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, when I'm not streaming, my job is working with birds.
What a
Parrots.
good human.
I know.
Is there a center or a place you go you want to shout out so people?
Oh, where I work at?
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to look at it. It sounds like you're
Is there a
like,
coffee shop that people can find you at?
right.
Maybe. I don't know, but just know it's in California.
That's cool. Okay,
Los
cool.
Angeles.
Awesome. Just in case, like 501c3 or whatever. But I will. So since I didn't get the Diana post, we're gonna do the like Diana links galore tomorrow
It's
on the
okay.
socials.
It's okay.
And,
no worries.
Okay,
But
that's
yeah,
good.
that's it. I don't really have a lot going on other than.
Oh,
just
no, not
the
a lot.
shows.
Said a lot.
No, not a lot.
I hate talking about myself. Okay, next. That's why Megan said that.
You're so endearing, Diana. We love you.
I'm sorry.
We love everybody. So, Carrie, what else? What other cool stuff in the world you're doing? What's coming up? Anything you want to raise the signal on?
Yeah, I don't know if I am supposed to talk about this, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Do it.
I am gonna be on Insight Checked's Twitch channel in November. Candace and Megan might also be there for a Deadlands Lost Colony horror one-shot.
Ooh.
So that is
very
something
cool.
that I am plotting and planning right now. So that is very exciting. Other than that, I have Outbreak. I'm also working on like 1,200 other things, but nothing anytime soon. So not worth discussing at the moment. I don't think I'm also a huge horror fan, and so I'm taking all of those recommendations and filing them away, and I'm going to be watching all of those things very soon. I haven't had a lot of time to sit and watch a movie lately, but something I'm very excited for is Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
Very
Oh, yeah.
excited
Yes.
for Wednesday. I love that actress. What
It's
Jenna
Wednesday
Ortega?
Adams Goes to
Ortega.
College.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
you haven't
Googling.
heard it yet?
No. I
Watch
haven't-
the trailer
It's going
right
on.
Watch the
now.
trailer.
It's coming to
Okay.
Netflix.
Okay, awesome.
I
That
am
looks good.
so I haven't been so excited for a movie in a long time. The trailer dropped.
Is it a
and I was
movie or
like,
is it a
"Ugh."
series?
I think it's a series. I
series.
think it's a
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds so cool.
Super excited for that.
See, now we're on. See, this is why we ask these questions. We got to know what's good out there. So on the Lost Colony thing, like, shoot me an email and I will send you guys Lost Colony merch so you guys can have stuff to give away for your stream, because Lost Colony is we're doing our next game changer. So that's totally on brand, guys. Because people did
Amazing.
say throw money at Carrie Smith, so I will throw product instead. Because
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. Thanks,
I
Kelly.
don't,
Kelly
I don't
said
have
that.
the purse, but I will throw product and merch. So we'll do that. And we do need to get those Exit on Death shirts. We just need to make those now. Like, that's
Yeah.
just a thing that needs to happen. And awesome. Of course, John. Yes, everyone loved Wednesday Addams because she was creepy and amazing and smart. Anyways, yay for the creepy smart girls. Right. So speaking of like creepy and smart, Cheyenne,
Yes!
what's your outside of streaming love? What's going on? What do you want to boost the signal? Light a
Okay,
flame,
well, on
take a
the
big
subject
flame.
of horror,
Oh.
my wife is a big, huge horror fan, and she's been watching a series on Hulu called Into the Dark,
Ooh.
which is actually a series of movies.
Mhm.
So movie-length episodes that are only tangentially connected to each other, but they've all been pretty interesting and well done horror stories made by Blumhouse, and I recommend them quite a bit. There's some really good ones there. And I'll let you explore all of those on your own. Other than that, the things that I've been doing, I'm writing whatever the Squamous Island game is going to be called. I want to come up with a better name for it, but I'm working on, character creation and backgrounds, that sort of stuff. I have a weird mechanic I think would be really fun for a horror game, and I want to test it out where this works better if it won't work great for Carrie with for 15 players, but it will certainly work really well for a GM who can't find enough players to fill out a table necessarily for a game. It's like, because I picture it as like a game where a horror setting where every player gets 3 characters at the start, but none of them can be wild cards until the other 2 die.
Ooh, a Savage Worlds funnel.
That's awesome.
Interesting.
So all your characters are just mooks until the last one you got. Then it becomes a wild card and becomes the final girl or whatever, for the horror story, and has a better chance of survival.
That's kind of brutal, sir. That's brutal.
Yeah,
That's super
I
brutal.
love it.
and then I'm doing some work as an art director for a Minecraft project where we're bringing the TARDIS to Minecraft. It's been a lot of fun. It's already been out, but we're updating to 1.19, and then that's going to be a whole overhaul of the mod. And I'm working on new modeled consoles for that. And other than that, just checking my email every day from Valve to see if I'm getting my Steam Deck anytime soon.
Hey, look who popped into the chat saying that there's a new funnel system perhaps in the Horror Companion, which during the last stream we mentioned it might be coming to a crowdfunder sooner than you think. So
hey,
right?
I'll need that Horror Companion for my game there, Shane.
I'll have to send you a preview copy just so we how does Cheyenne not already have this? Also, I just saw Catherine Zeta-Jones is going to play Morticia Adams.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes! How did I not know this?
Louise Guzman
It's a great cast.
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Gwendolyn
Gomez.
Christie's in it. Oh geez, so this is too cool. Okay, see,
Yes.
this is why.
Yeah, watch the trailer.
I don't
Watch
think
the trailer.
that doesn't mean what you think it means, Shane. Watch out.
I know
We're
where you
talking
live,
about
Shane.
Netflix, but we're not going to chill afterwards. We're keeping it PG. So Candace, what other cool stuff in the world do you want, or does it? Okay, sure. So Candace, what other glorious things out there in the world you want to shine a light on for people?
So I've got a lot of stuff that is coming that I am not allowed to talk about.
Oh no!
And I am the person that always ruins things and talks about stuff where I'm supposed to. So I'm really trying to be good. You can catch me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you my information. You keep an eye on my socials, and then I'm going to shout some people out if that's okay.
That's cool. Do it. Do all the things.
Oh, and by the way, Diana, question for you. Were you an elf in Hollow's Last Hope?
That's me, Kyura.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I did not mention you.
It's
You were
okay.
also absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Your
That
other
was
player
me.
was also good. I don't remember his name either. I did not recognize
Leander
him.
Lacey.
He had a wig, right? Like white hair, I think.
Yeah, I had a white hair.
Yeah.
I had a wig.
You looked great. Sorry.
Thank you. That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
So a comment just said Candace is the Tom Holland of streaming. Yes, I can confirm this.
Thanks. That's great. I wish that I were as ripped as he is. The man is surprisingly ripped.
Yeah.
So
I can
you
do
can catch
backflips.
me.
Yeah, he killed that celebrity lip sync thing.
Oh
He
my
did.
God,
Umbrella.
Killed
Rihanna,
it.
Yes.
It will live on for
Love
the
that.
remainder of time. Rent
Everyone was
free.
like, Emily Blunt killed that show. No,
No.
dude,
No,
he
no,
did.
it's all about
And
Tom Holland.
It
Tom
still just
Holland.
circles social media like every
Yes.
like 3 months you'll see it
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's because he
We will
went
never
so
die.
hard. Is
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
it is.
he did.
That circles
Okay.
back to our previous comment. Don't be afraid to just go hard.
Right, do it.
Go crazy.
Fly your flag, people. Fly your flag.
You can find me at Candace the Magnificent pretty much everywhere except for Twitter, where I'm at that Candace Girl. Shout out to Saucefire. I can talk about that. me and Saucefire and a band of heroes are hanging around Waterdeep as tiny creatures, and it's really cute. So if you like cute shows that are a little chaotic, tune in on the 8th and the 22nd. It's an every other week show. We'll have episodes 3 and 4. Shout out to @InsightChecked. I actually just did a game of Masks on her channel, and I may or may not be appearing in other stuff in the future. I don't know. But we do like working together. So there's that. @KDamnFear. I've collabed with Kay before on Thirsty Sword Lesbians and a couple other projects. Please check out their content. They've got a wonderful talk show every Tuesday. @Maddie Ms. Hee. I might be on something that they might be doing, but they're doing something awesome. He has a new show called What We Do in the Shallows, which is actually I feel like it's 5e. But it's a pirate adventure that's extremely gay. So if you like that, come on by. I feel like I'm probably leaving people out. Keep an eye on my socials. If you want to watch Axion, check it out on Valor Studios. I think that Tony's been streaming it like nonstop, so just jump right in
just on a
and
loop.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Everybody's dressed up real good. So
I know
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah, you
boost
guys
thing
look
is
incredible.
Axiom is amazing. So Cheyenne got part, like Aaron Acevedo, like he introduced Midjourney to everybody, and so after seeing Axiom, I'm like, I want to make sky pirates. I want balloons and dirigibles and romance. So I've been spending way too many hours on Midjourney making cool Napoleonic era dirigibles, and that's my thing. So
Yeah,
Midjourney,
I'm waiting for my monthly account to refresh. I've already burned through all my minutes.
Oh, so that's the thing. I went for the $30 and like everything was on slow, and then I wait till like the last 2 days and then upsize everything with the fast minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't spend them early; I spend them late. But it's so cool. So that's a cool new thing, right? Is like the AI art. I think the there's been a little consternation amongst the the art crowd, the artist crowd, about whether this is going to be putting people out of jobs or not. And I think, on a positive note, I think it's a kind of a democratization of publishing. So a lot of people who wouldn't ever be hiring an artist anyways are going to be able to get medium standard art that is good enough to publish. So I think the self-publishing and like the swag program folks are going to be able to put out stuff with art where they wouldn't before. I don't think it's a replacement for the true art professionals who can keep a character, do everything you want on that character has to be in the picture because someone is going to be playing, that it's not a replacement for. But there's some amazing stuff coming out. So,
but for me, I'm using it as pre-designed stuff.
yeah,
When I know I want to do something, I'll run a couple prompts, come up to refine the idea, and it'll present me with things I hadn't thought of yet. And it's a way to break out of my own like little cage of ideas that I always fall back on because now I'm given new random thoughts, and I can take those and develop them and turn them into something better.
that's awesome.
So I just view it as a way to improve.
Yeah.
It's just another tool.
Right, it's just another tool, and like I think besides the democratization part, I do think it's also like it will never exceed human creativity because it only has access to things that have already been created, right? Like, so it's kind of pulling cliches or platonic ideals about what people labeled photos. It's, so if you put in cop, it only knows what the cop. You can be creative a little bit with it, but true artistry, human stuff that's never been created before, the AIs can't. It can't do that. It can only teach what it's been seen. So I think there's still room for folks to be cutting edge and good artists and all that stuff. But I think it's fun. I know I want to investigate some projects with it. So that's my little one is, hey, check out the AI art generators, because that's really cool. And that's another thing too is, I mean, I kind of mentioned about how do we build community, how do we make communities safe and fun and productive, and I think that's what the conversation is going on in the AI art community right now is like, what do we want this to be? Yeah. And like the creators, the people are doing office hours, so I recommend stopping in on those because they listen to like for instance, a lot of people went straight to the XXX stuff. Like, I want to make, and they're like, nope, we're not going to have it on this platform. That's not part of our artistic vision, so we're not going to do it. And it's like, that's cool. It's cool that we're at least having that conversation on what AI and what those kind of networks are going to be used for. So just like I think we did it cool with the Savage Worlds community and keeping. I think the biggest thing is just to have the conversation and then have it again and again and again, right? Like, never think anything is settled. So speaking of having it again and again, we will have you guys all back on our showcases. I think at the end of the month, we're going to roll these from Savage World Summer Showcases into Fast Furious Fall Features. keeping with the horrible dad puns, which I love. And, since I get to make the graphics, it's my word goes. And watch Shane will be in here and be like, veto. But other than that, so when you guys have projects, make sure you email us so we can get them in the newsletter, and then we'll have you all back on, hopefully with Harlan and Joe, because they're more fun than me. But thank you all for being such amazing representatives and ambassadors for our game and our community. Love all the work you guys do. There aren't enough hours in the day to really appreciate it all, but we hope we can keep the signal boosted so our lovely fans can be fans of yours as well. So awesome, guys. And with that, we've already gone over. We will see you guys next Thursday for another Savage World Summer Showcase. So cheers.
Bye.